Story 1, Part 1. My mom had an affair, and she started seeing someone else behind our backs, kind of like having a secret boyfriend. Now, the twist is my older and younger sisters knew about this the whole time but didn't tell a soul, especially not my dad or me. You might wonder why they kept it a secret. Well, it turns out the guy my mom was seeing was bribing them with all sorts of awesome gifts to keep their mouths shut. Eventually, the truth came out, and my dad was heartbroken and felt utterly betrayed by my sisters for hiding the truth and accepting gifts to keep quiet. He was so hurt that he decided he couldn't see them the same way anymore. I felt exactly the same way. I was so let down by what my sisters did that I just couldn't deal with them anymore. So they ended up leaving with my mom to live with this guy. But then things went from bad to worse. This guy turned out to be a real creep, making my sisters feel really uncomfortable and scared with his actions. He was touching them all the time. This just added a whole new layer of mess to the already complicated situation. So, when everything came out in the open about what was happening, neither my dad nor I were too concerned, even when my mom, who I call Birthgiver, called us up to spill the beans. She and my sisters wanted to make things right and come back home, but my dad was having none of it. He told them straight up to figure out something else because coming back was not an option. After that, things didn't go so well for my mom. She started drinking a lot and jumping from one boyfriend to another, and honestly, a lot of those guys were even worse than she was. Meanwhile, my dad ended up marrying this amazing woman who really stepped up and became like a second mom to me. She also had a daughter who I've come to treat just like my real sister. But then, about a year ago, my dad passed away. It was peaceful in his sleep, but it hit me really hard. At that time, we were staying in his home country, so when it came to his funeral, it was a pretty small deal. My dad had made it clear long before he passed that he didn't want my mom or my sisters anywhere near his funeral, and he definitely didn't want them to know where he was laid to rest. Months after my dad passed, my sisters found out about it. They weren't happy, to say the least. I got a bunch of angry voicemails from them blasting me for not letting them know about our dad's death. When it came to his will, my dad had left them each just $1, which is something the law here requires if you want to make sure your will holds up in court. The rest of his stuff, his assets, were split between my stepmom, my stepsister, and me. Right now, I'm still living with my stepmom and stepsister, but I'm planning to move out to my own place soon. Now, there's a new twist. My biological mom, who I've been calling Birthgiver, is really sick. My estranged sisters have been trying to get in touch with me, telling me I should come see her because she keeps asking for me. They're also saying they miss me and want us to be a family again. But after everything that's happened, I've blocked them. However, they keep finding new ways to reach out, using different phone numbers or creating new social media accounts to message me. It's gotten to the point where I'm considering going to the police because it feels like harassment, but in my country, there is no such thing as a restraining order. I answered their phone call one day and let them have it, saying I have no relation to them and that my stepmom and stepsister are my family. We were on FaceTime, and my younger sister started crying, asking how long am I going to hate them. I told them I don't hate them. I simply don't care about them at all. My older sister was quiet and said she understood. She told me she was getting married soon and hoped I could be walking her down the aisle. But since I will never want anything to do with them, she will take care of her younger sister and Birthgiver. I told her that's her job and she ended the call. My younger sister sent me a text saying she will keep hoping I will change my mind one day. But I decided to just kill any hope in her by saying my stepsister is the only sister I have. Then, I shared a picture of a Christmas photo of my dad, mom, stepsister, and me in matching sweatshirts, telling my younger sister that my stepmom and stepsister are my family, so please stop reaching out to me. Birthgiver called me to yell at me, saying that I didn't need to be cruel to my younger sister, but I told her that I wasn't being cruel. I was just stating they aren't my family. Birthgiver told me to leave my life and they will lead their lives, also to not come to her funeral, to which I said she has nothing to worry about, that I know I am an a-hole, but truth to be told, I don't really care if that's what it takes to not talk to my sisters. I have a good job. My stepmom and stepsister never make me feel like I am not part of their lives after dad is gone. My friends from childhood told me recently that my younger sister opened some paid platform like OnlyFans, but honestly, I don't want to know, nor do I care to know what's going on in their life. I'm just hoping that this time, they actually follow through to never reach out to me. Update 1. You people, I'm not asking for advice, nor is this an aid to. I just accept that while I am an a-hole here, I don't really care about it. My family and friends agree with me. What I have done is correct anyways, for the morons who were assuming a lot of baseless shit. Also, I don't acknowledge her as my mother, so I just use the word birthgiver as a neutral term. I prefer to call her that. Here, Dad divorced birthgiver when I was 21. My younger sister was 18. They didn't tell Dad because they wanted the money and gifts from AP, who was buying them things my dad couldn't. We were a lower middle-class family, so even things like going out for dinner was a once-in-a-while treat. As far as I knew, birthgiver was cheating on my dad for 2 years. But honestly, I don't give a damn anymore. My dad was a great guy, but once he cut someone out, that person is out of his life permanently, something I admire about him and followed in his principle. He didn't let the divorce drag him down. He worked harder than ever, always made sure he was there for me. He was a family man, and he loved birthgiver, and my sister's betrayal is something she has always failed to see because she and her sisters only saw him as an ATM. Whatever happened to my sisters is on them. I have zero sympathy. I could give zero shit about you people who are saying I should be sympathetic to their plight. They still defended birthgiver after what happened to them, even after she turned a blind eye to what he was doing to them. If family betrays you, they are not family, and you should not care whatever happens to them after. Yes, I still live with my stepmother and stepsister. Still, stepmom is still grieving Dad's passing, and my stepsister is graduating college and wants me to stay with them till she's able to find a job. So, till I settle some ongoing matters, I am staying with them. The morons who are making disgusting jokes about the two of them can go to hell. My life is going to be good, and I will have no regrets if birthgiver and my sisters never talk to me till the day we die. I won't be going to their funerals, and hopefully, they have the common sense not to come to mine. Birthgiver and my older sister have acknowledged we are no longer family and will not try to reach out to me. My younger sister is slowly accepting the fact I want nothing to do with her. I made a family appreciation post the other day on my Facebook and Instagram with the caption, "Love my mother and sister," with a picture of my mom and stepsister while we were out. Somehow, there must be a dummy account for my sisters, which they used to follow me because my friend screenshotted my younger sisters doing something similar, a picture with birthgiver and my older sister with some caption about being not needing any man in their lives because their bond is strong or something. Anyways, to cap it up to you people and morons on the comment thread. Part 2, same OP. I have posted about them a few times in Reddit to explain why we are no longer in contact, but the short version was about more than a decade ago. My mother cheated on my dad, and my two sisters knew about it. They kept their silence because the AP partner and mom bought their silence. My dad and I found out. He divorced my mother and disowned my sisters. I disowned them as well. We never talked much since then, and I have moved on with my life. Dad remarried to my stepmom, and I have a stepsister as well. He passed away in 2022. I am more family with my stepmom and sister than my actual biological family. Anyways, coming to the story, my younger sister Mia started doing OnlyFans during COVID. I only knew this because the former friends I had would make jokes to me about it and tried to share her picture with me, which was disgusting. I didn't care Mia did OnlyFans as we didn't talk, and the only weird thing I heard about it was Jen, my estranged mother, was fully supportive of her OnlyFans career and was arguing with people who knew that Mia is being comfortable with her sexuality and is making good money. This wasn't my circus to care, so as time progressed, Mia apparently started doing content with other people, and Sophia sort of became her manager of sorts. My cousin from Sophia's side told me Mia checked herself into rehab because she started to spiral out to heavy alcohol and drug use. Sophia wanted Mia to stop doing OnlyFans because her mental condition is not good. But Mia rebelled and cut Sophia off from her earnings and decided to let some other person be her manager. There is a whole lot of fiasco going on between them. Emily, my older sister, reached out to me in a rare moment, asking if I am willing to talk to Mia into stopping from doing OnlyFans. I said no and blocked the number she used. The whole mess they did is on them. Honestly, I don't recognize them anymore with the amount of cosmetic surgeries they have done, especially with Mia, although I know Sophia had a part influencing that too. Something I said to my cousin about Sophia failing as a mother again was inadvertently passed back to her, and that resulted in Mia sending a text telling me to mind my own business, that whatever Sophia and her are going through doesn't concern me as I have clearly abandoned them. I just replied that I don't care about what happened and tell her to just get the help she needs before blocking her too. I only see Mia spiraling down this rabbit hole further, but she decided to drop out from being an engineer to pursue OnlyFans, which was dumb in my opinion. Hopefully I am wrong for Mia's sake, but in the end, I blame Sophia still for this. Part 3. This is a post from the same OP, but this time, it is focusing on his relationship with his older sister and her fiancé and their upcoming wedding. Context: I cut off my bio mother Sophia, 58F, my older sister Emily, 33F, and my younger sister Mia, 27F, about 11 years ago. Sophia was having an affair for 3 years, and Emily and Sophia knew about it. Sophia's AP partner bought Sophia and Emily's silence. My dad found out eventually, divorced Sophia, disowned Sophia and Emily. I cut my relationship with Sophia, Emily, and Mia since, and aside from some BS document I signed about Sophia's inheritance, which stated I would not contest her will against my sisters after her death, we never had any contact since. My dad met and remarried to a great woman, Linda, 2 years after the divorce. Linda has a daughter, Nat, who I see as my sister. My dad passed away last year. Fast forward to the recent events. I got an FB message from Emily's fiancé, Jake, introducing himself. I decided to say hi just to see what he wants, and we had a decent chat. Then, he disclosed that Emily told him about me and why I cut them off. Piqued his interest and he wanted to know me a bit. I told him that I don't think that there is anything much we have in common to know about each other. But he was into cars like myself and we talked a bit about our current project cars. Then, he surprised me by asking if I would like to come to the wedding. I politely told him no, as I don't think I am interested in that given I have nothing to do with all of them. He told me he understands and to let him know if I changed my mind, which I said I don't think I will, but we can be Facebook friends as long as there is no talk about Emily, Mia, or Sophia. We talked a bit here and there, but there wasn't much conversation as of late. A couple of days back, I got an angry message in Facebook from some account. It was Emily. She created a secondary account to blast me about ruining her relationship. There were some heated insults which really enraged me, especially about Nat. I wanted to reply, but since I didn't want to engage in drama, I didn't reply to her and simply blocked that account too. I did, however, message Jake and asked him what is going on. Jake informed me that he has called off the wedding with Emily after Emily blew up against him for talking to me. He also says for now, he is taking a break to assess whether he wants to be in this relationship. I said that I don't appreciate being blamed for this and he was confused, so I showed him the screenshot of the FB messages from Emily, which I think perhaps was not a good idea. Hours later, I got a call from Mia from some other number too, where she pissed me off as well by blaming me for ruining Jake's and Emily's relationship. I lost my mind and asked her WTF is she talking about. I have never talked to Jake much, and while we are Facebook friends, the only thing we talk about once in a while is about our cars. Mia told me I shouldn't have accepted being friends with Jake in the first place because he is Emily's fiancé. First, I told her she was being stupid. That's where I heard the second voice of Sophia yelling into the phone to shut up and that I am still ruining their lives even after I have cut them off. I cut the call by that time when I heard Jen's voice, and this time, it was a long message from one of Mia's secondary Instagram accounts calling me the worst brother ever. How she is glad that I am not her brother as well. There were plenty others, but reading the entire thing just made decide to shut them up. I replied to her, but she blocked me, so I unblocked hers, Mia's, and Sophia's number, created a WhatsApp group, and just unloaded all the things I kept in myself for 11 years, calling them names, telling them they don't deserve happiness, and they will never ever get it, no matter how well off they are now. I made sure to write in the middle of the morning because I wanted no replies. I told Emily that Jake deserves someone better than her, and I hope he dumps her permanently. I told Mia that her OnlyFans, as fitting as she has always had no potential than to be promiscuous, but she can't be blamed fully because she learned it from the best person, which was Sophia. I finally told Sophia, even though she has stopped seeing me as her son now, just like I have stopped seeing her as my mother long time ago, I will always be a living reminder that her actions in the past will always prove she is a shitty person, and no matter how much of self-healing she does, she will come across me or hear about me, and knowing her own flesh and blood has thrived without her will always make her feel like a failure. I then blocked them when I saw the delivered and read sign and someone typing, deleted the group, went back to normal. Jake messaged me yesterday, telling me I have apparently caused some ruckus because Mia reached out to him, asking him to forgive Emily, showing the message I sent in the group, hoping to get some sympathy, but Jake apparently told her he is not getting involved, and his only issue is with Emily. Sophia, after reading my message, apparently threw away all my childhood photos that she kept. Emily and Sophia got rid of anything that reminded them of me and asked Mia to do the same. Mia was a bit more reluctant because she felt that it was unnecessary to delete the childhood photos of us as kids. But Sophia apparently had a total breakdown and told her it's either her or me. Mia followed suit when Emily told her I was never coming back to their lives and it's best for them to accept that I am dead to them as well. I found it a bit too dramatic to know about this more, but it felt great to let out what I think of them instead of just building an icy wall to block them out. Jake told me he will probably stop contact for a while till he thinks about his decision, which I told him to take all the time he needs and he should do what is right for him. My issues with them have nothing to do with him. I woke up today to breakfast that Linda made, letting that mess with me. Linda just laughing about something. I realized that I am still loved by these two people, and they are my real family. Update. A lot has happened this week. I am not happy because I don't know why some Reddit content creators thought it would have been okay to post my story on their pages without even messaging me here to ask for permission. The worst part is some of them have embellished my post, which I don't appreciate. I only knew this after Jake messaged me to ask if I posted about what happened on Reddit. I said yes, but my Reddit is not linked to any of my real-life accounts to protect my privacy, so I definitely didn't out anyone. All the names I used are just fake names that don't bear any resemblance to them. He showed me a few TikTok pages where my story was posted, and some of them were twisted by the AA to make it seem worse. Jake told me Mia showed him the posts first, and they are more than pissed off I have posted on Reddit, which is something I am not concerned about. I am not on TikTok, and I don't plan to be on it, but now I am beyond irate because this is bringing more stupid drama to me. Mia asked Jake to please ask me to talk to her because she is hurting because reading the post is affecting her mental health. I told her that while I am sorry that my post went viral on TikTok, I'm not at fault here. I didn't even realize my post would be on there, and none of these content creators messaged me here asking permission to post my story. He then told me reading my post realized how toxic Emily was, and he has started to fall out of love with her. Jake ended it with Emily last Thursday and has asked Emily to move out from his place by the end of this week. This, of course, has taken a huge toll on Emily, and she is saying to everyone close to her that I am a dead man if she ever comes across me for ruining her relationship, which at this point pisses me off because I never intended my post to go viral in the first place. Anyways, I agreed to just talk to Mia because Jake told me he just wants to process his breakup, and he wants me to just deal with Mia since he doesn't want to be part of this. I told him fine and gave him an address of a cafe in town where I will meet Mia. That was yesterday. I went to the cafe, and when Mia saw me, she just sat there, and I asked her what she wants to talk about and if she wants me to apologize for my post. I am not doing that. She didn't say much and just looked tired like she has been crying a lot. She finally asked why I did this, and the rising anger I felt that this accusation made me want to just leave, but I told her I didn't do anything. My Reddit post is just something I wanted to share with internet strangers, and I didn't want my post to be used to get attention on social media. Mia accepted my statement and told me while she understands that I am not purposely trying to hurt them, the things I posted hurt her a lot, and when she read my post here and read it, she felt sickened by how everyone is painting Emily and her as monsters. I told her a few people actually sympathized with her too if she read the full post, but she just kept quiet and asked me to just leave them alone if I hate them so much. I told her that I didn't even want to talk to her, but she is the one who insists that she needs to talk to me, so she better get out what she wants to say so we don't waste each other's time. Mia just shouted back that if I don't want to talk to her, I shouldn't have agreed, then which I replied this was regarding her mental health, and while I don't see her as a sister, as someone who also went through a few bouts of mental health issues, I can empathize how she is feeling now. Mia just nodded and told me to move on, and I told her I already did. I have said what I wanted to say and have put them in my past. Our life is better off without having each other in our lives, and I hope she finds happiness in her life moving forward. Mia then said something which took me aback. She told me she has been having suicidal thoughts over the years. Apart from me knowing I hate her and don't want anything to do with her made her feel like she doesn't want to live, but she healed with support from Sophia and Emily. Slowly, she started to let me go until this thing recently happened. I told her she needs a therapist to help her. Sophia and Emily are not enough. Mia agreed on this and told me she needs to stop loving me because her love for me hurts her. And while Sophia and Emily have closed their hearts to me and moved on, she's having a hard time doing so. She needs to hate me and despise me to move on with her life, but she can't because she still sees me as her big brother to this day. I told her she'd just have to leave and never look back. We may be related by blood, but our bond has been broken a long time ago, and if she values her sanity, she should be at peace with that. Mia didn't say much and just told me she will. Dad's passing is a fresh wound on their hearts, but realizing he never wanted her in his life until the end made Emily and her realize that the men in their lives are no more, and their bond is stronger now. I didn't say much and asked her to rely on her bond with Emily. She gave a chuckle at how my responses are just so dry and lack any affections. I told her I am hurting right at this moment, but she and I know there's no undoing the clock. I asked her if the sexual abuse from all of Sophia's past boyfriends was true, but she refused to answer. She just answered, "I wanted my brother." I told her I can't be that for her, but I am sure Emily will find someone again, and hopefully he will be a great guy who she can see as a brother one day. I told her to not disturb Jake anymore as he wants to heal. Mia was on the verge of crying and held my hand for a bit. I wanted to pull back but decided against it, and she told me she is glad we had this talk. She's going to attempt to close her heart like Sophia and Emily did, and while it's tough, she needs for it to happen. I said do is what she must, but please don't reach out to me anymore. I'm not going to be part of their lives, and this is just unhealthy for both of us. Mia agreed on this and told me hopefully I will at least come to her funeral one day if she goes first, which I found a tad manipulative. I didn't say much and just told her we should end our conversation here. Mia and I left shortly after that, but not before I saw Sophia waiting in the car outside, which made me tense. She saw me and looked away, and I did the same before walking to my car. Mia entered the car, and I could see her slumping her head on Sophia's shoulder. I got into my car and just drove away. Honestly, Mia's words left me emotionally exhausted. I have stopped loving her as a sister, but her words just keep ringing in my head until I had to get drunk last night just to fall asleep. I really wish her the best in her life, but this trauma dumping is just too much for me. Linda has been kind to me the whole day today and allowed me to just stay in bed. She told me to reach out to her if I need to talk, but honestly, I feel so emotionally drained by this ordeal that my apathy for people is just coming back, just like during the divorce. I just don't want to feel anything now. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Before we start, if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Now let's continue. I, 28M, want a divorce from my wife, 27F, but everyone wants me to forgive her. Throw away for obvious reasons explained below. Me and my wife have been married for 3 years. First, let me say my wife is not struggling with any issues that I'm aware of, and we have known each other since grade school. We literally know everything about each other and families. About 2 months ago, I came home and found my wife and 6-month-old daughter on the couch. My wife was asleep, and my daughter next to her. The moment I went in to greet them, I smelled my daughter immediately. She needed a diaper change. I didn't know how long it had been since her last diaper change. I took my daughter from the couch to go and change her diaper, as I didn't want to wake up my wife. My wife doesn't sleep during the day, so I know that if I find my wife sleeping during the day or any time before 9 p.m., she had a hectic day and is just drained. I walked into my daughter's room and placed her on the changing table and started to change her diaper. Not even 2 minutes later, my wife walked into the room, and as I greeted her, she looked at me and looked down to my daughter on the changing table and went into a rage and started to attack me. I was stunned for like a second, and instinct kicked in, and I leaned over my daughter to protect her. My wife was shouting while hitting me, "How could I? How could I?" over and over again, and that I'm a monster. I had no idea at the time what she was talking about. And the morning I left, everything was as good as it could be. She then ran out the room like 5 minutes later. 3 police officers had me in handcuffs, and my wife got going crazy that she caught me saying my daughter. I was speechless at that moment and couldn't believe what she was saying. I asked her what she was talking about. All she kept saying is that she saw me doing it. I was arrested and released the next day when the police had a look at the camera footage in my daughter's room, clearly seeing that I was just busy changing her diaper and nothing happened. There is not evidence that to support my wife's claims, and she attacked me without provocation. I want a divorce as I can't believe she would even think that I would do something like that. I haven't spoken to her since I got released, and my phone has been blowing up with calls and texts with her apologies. I honestly don't care about that. The moment she said those words to the police that I essayed my daughter, it was like all the love I had for her just left me, and all I feel is a void inside of me at the moment. Nothing else. I had her served with divorce papers a week ago, and now everyone is constantly harassing me. My family, her family, our friends, to talk to her and counseling to sort this out. She can get counseling if she wants, but I will not be involved. I am going for full custody of my daughter. My lawyer has informed me that I will most probably get full custody of my daughter due to my wife's violent outburst on camera, and that I had to shield her with my body and the false claims laid against me, noting her mental state. Everyone is saying I'm taking things too far by divorcing her and trying to take my daughter from her, but nobody can give me a reason as to why she did what she did. She herself, in the 374 messages, hasn't given me an explanation as well, just constant sorry, and we can go for marriage counseling and individual counseling. Again, I don't care. She can go by herself. I'm just worn down at the moment as the gravity of everything is hitting me. What should I do? Everyone is on her side. What am I missing? Am I the jerk for making my husband and children prove they can take care of a dog without my help before we got married and had kids? My husband and I agreed that all big decisions required 2 yes or no votes. Well, our 2 oldest kids and my husband want a dog. I do not. I have heard too many horror stories about a family getting a pet and then the person who did not want it being stuck caring for it. I finally agreed on 3 conditions. 1. Smaller than 60 pounds. We do not need a mastiff. 2. A non-shedding dog only. None of us are allergic. I just don't want extra work. 3. For 60 days in a row, they had to collect all the garbage from all the trash cans in the house and put it in the big garbage bin. That was to make sure they would remember to feed a dog every day. And for 60 days, they all 3 of them had to go for a 1-mile walk twice a day with the GPS route tracker active. If they missed a day, they had to start over. The longest they have made it so far is 2 weeks. My parents called me up to say I was being ridiculous and petty. I 100% agreed with them, but since they always side with the kids, I was ready for them. I sent them a link for a dog walking service in my area. It is very reasonable. I said if they wanted a say in the dog decision, they had to agree to set up an account with that company, and that I could call up the company for help whenever their precious perfect grandchildren and son-in-law forgot to take care of the dog. They said I was being a jerk and that they had the right to their opinion. I agreed that they had that, but unless they were willing to pay to include their opinion in the decision, it did not matter. My husband has finally seen that the kids aren't responsible enough to have a dog. Great, he said. We needed to tell them. I said that we was one too many people. I wasn't the one who sided with them when I had said I knew they were not ready. He thinks I'm being a dick. No one has called me an a-hole. But that's only because they say it in much more polite terms. Update, they did it. Took them almost a year, but they managed to follow all the rules for 2 months. We have found an acceptable dog at a rescue, and we are bringing him home tomorrow. My kids are stoked to get a pup for Christmas. My husband has lost a bunch of weight from his daily walks, and I have too since I joined in on most walks. Thanks everyone for your comments and opinions. I held strong and they came through. Now on to the next story. Story 3. I gave my husband a crazy ultimatum. Long story short, whatever you do, I'll do in return. Me, 24, and my husband, 21, got married very soon, January 2022. He's in the military, and we've been together since November 2021. We have 2 kids, 5F in 6 months. Male. I will say he has experienced mental health problems our entire relationship, and I have not always been the best support for him. Medley throughout this post, I will address my faults accordingly. The first thing I noticed was Aman, of which, for some reason, I was okay with at the beginning of our relationship. I get it, he's a male and his needs I can't always help with, but of his very personal, in my opinion, compared to other sites, that's the first boundary I placed. Don't do it. He kept doing it even now, obviously. Saying it was okay at the beginning was wrong on my part, especially because I changed my mind. St didn't realize he would subscribe to his friends. I found out I was pregnant shortly after my birthday last July. He knows I dealt with infidelity for my last ex, with whom I share a child. During the course of my pregnancy, I dealt with it for my husband as well. I have intimate trauma, and he knew this going into the relationship. While pregnant, I didn't want to do it, which was unfair of me. He cuddled with my 23F cousin while I was asleep, and I allowed her to stay with us for a few days. He then dared my drunk best friend, 25F, to undress in the car while they were driving to the military base. I'm not saying the girls did nothing wrong, but that's not my point. After delivering the baby, he appeared to get very close with a close friend of mine, who we always hang out with as well as her husband. They're a few years older than us. They ended up kissing on multiple occasions, and he made comments about getting together with them, which I refused to do. I found out they were talking behind my back, and he would log into her SC and look at her privates. I should have ended my friend's relationship there, but I understood why my husband did it anyways. A week ago, he told me that he logged into her Snapchat again and gave her private videos of us. He also invited her over in the middle of the night while my daughter and I were at an Airbnb due to a fight we had that night. He told me he was trying it out, whatever that means. I did threaten to divorce him the last time it happened, and that's something you should never do in a marriage. I feel like I've had zero support from him for our entire relationship, and he just expects it from me. He is a very good dad to his son, though, something I see and love every single day. I don't believe in divorce, and most of me doesn't believe I should be allowed to break any vows, even if he's been doing it our entire relationship. But last night I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if you want an open marriage, then fine, whatever you do, I will do in return with zero repercussions. Apparently, he's never had intimacy with any of these people, but I don't believe that. I will not have intimacy with anybody in this ultimatum. I'm personally not comfortable with that. Now on to the next story. Story 4. I discovered my fiancée is cheating on me on the eve of our wedding. Now she is desperately asking for forgiveness. She must have noticed I was checking her out at the party because she kept looking in my direction. After a lot of internal struggle, I approached her. I wasn't as chubby now. I just had a noticeable weight which runs in my family, and I had been that way since childhood. In the past, many girls had turned me down, laughed in my face because I tried hitting on them, and I wasn't expecting anything different with Maya. She was gorgeous, and I expected her to either snub me or pretend like I didn't exist. But she was different. She spoke to me politely, and we talked for the rest of the night and had such a great time. It was my first time feeling that good and confident in a long time, and because we clicked so well, we exchanged contacts, and I gave her a call as soon as I got home. From there, we started seeing each other often, went on lunch dates, and our friendship grew. As time passed, I found Maya to be different from other girls of her age. She was kind, witty, and intelligent. I figured from the first night we talked, I wasn't just attracted to Maya because of her beauty. What attracted me most to Maya was her intelligence and sense of humor. Not so many girls had given me the opportunity to go on multiple dates with them, but Maya was generous to give me a shot. I was always attracted to intelligent people. I didn't like being around people with no life goals, vision, or future plans, and Maya was all of it. She was just out of college, actively scavenging the job openings, rushing for the marathon of interviews and whatnot. I loved to see how serious she was about her career. I never had a real relationship apart from one in high school, not because I couldn't keep one, but because the girls wanted something more than a nerd boy love which I didn't have. So meeting and dating a girl like Maya felt like a win for me. It was 3 months since she had graduated, and she had no luck in the job hunting game. She had left the college dorm and shifted with her friend, but it was becoming difficult for her to survive. Her parents were not well off to support her post-graduation. They had made it clear to her that she needed to care for herself after graduation. The friend with whom Maya lived was very clumsy, and would often have a boyfriend at the house. Since it was a one-bedroom flat, it became difficult for Maya to live in that house. Maya said living at a friend's place was taking its toll on her mental health, so I asked her to take a break for a while and move in with me. Although I was just starting my career in tech, the pay was good. I earned enough to care for both of us without her contribution. We lived in a spacious one-bedroom apartment, and I single-handedly took care of rent, paid the bills, and took care of groceries. I never complained because I loved her and didn't see a big deal in spending some extra bucks on her. Blind love, yeah. Throughout our relationship, everything went on smoothly, and we barely had any major fights. Maya managed the house, did the dishes and laundry, went grocery shopping, and took care of my bed needs. She was so great in bed, and I enjoyed every bit of the moment with her. Before Maya and I started dating, she told me about her ex-boyfriend in college and how he maltreated her. I assured her I was a gentleman, and I kept my promise. In the past, I had never had issues controlling my anger, and I never laid my hands on anybody or a woman, so she was safe with me. Believe it or not, I had never cheated in the past, and I didn't plan on cheating on her also. My work was 60% remote and 40% on-site, so I shuffled our house in the office, and this allowed us to spend enough time together to show how transparent I was with her. I even came up with the rules of telling each other wherever we went, who we were with, and what we were doing whenever we went out. I did this to show her I meant serious business with her and that I had nothing to hide. As our relationship progressed, we introduced each other to our parents, and in no time we knew all of each other's friends, mainly those close to us. I didn't have a best friend, but Maya had hers. Her name was Andrea, and she used to hang out with Maya all the time. She also visited the house regularly, and we were almost like family. Andrea and Maya were roommates back at college. Unlike Maya, Andrea worked as a retail store manager at a popular store in our city and lived with her two sisters who were also working women. As per Andrea, Maya was able to crack the job for the same supermarket, but Maya declined the offer because she wanted a corporate job. I guess she became very comfortable with me providing for her, although I didn't say this to her. Andrea would often tease her and call her spoiled. Maya claimed she had worked hard juggling many part-time jobs as a teenager and while in college, so she deserved to be relaxed and cared for on my end. I was happy to give her that break. I didn't have any issues with taking care of Maya. In fact, I was glad I could provide and take care of my woman. One evening, while we were at a fancy restaurant to celebrate my promotion, Maya suddenly asked, "What do you say if we get married?" I stuttered. I was taken aback for a moment, but it didn't totally come as a surprise. I had been thinking of settling down with her, but I still had a lot of things under consideration, so I told her we would be married when the time was right, and she smiled. To be honest, I wanted Maya to start her career before we took our relationship to the next level. I always wanted to get married and have a family. After Maya came into my life, I've always imagined my life with her. I had even bought the ring to propose to her but was waiting for her to get her career straight. But somehow she found the ring in my closet, and before she could make any assumptions, I had to make an early proposal. The first time Maya broke the news to her best friend, Andrea, she looked more shocked than happy. Not the kind of shock that her best friend was getting married, but the shock that her best friend was getting married to me. I expected more excitement from her, especially since she would be Maya's maid of honor, but the excitement did not come. Her response was, "Are you being serious?" Andrea then tossed her purse on the floor and held Maya's ring. Then she looked up at me and forced a smile. Trust me, I had been around them for a very long time, and I could tell when her smile was forced and when it was genuine. Although I didn't mention it to Maya, I felt Andrea was not happy for her friend. In the past, I noticed Andrea was always awfully nice to me. Once we three were hanging out in our apartment while Maya went inside the kitchen to prepare some quick snacks. Andrea hinted to me that Maya was not who I thought she was. I understood what she meant, but I played dumb. I asked her, "What did you mean?" Andrea said that I would figure it out eventually. She was drunk, besides. She did not pass a direct message, and I could not conclude based on that. In no time, we started planning our wedding. Maya wanted a big fat wedding, the kind she would invite all her friends, family, and frenemies, but that was not what I wanted. First, it was significantly above my budget since she would not be contributing a penny to it. Secondly, I believed there was life after a wedding. I loved kids and I wanted us to have a child almost immediately, and that meant we'd need to rent a bigger apartment and take care of other things. Although Maya had all the reasons to want a big wedding, I still kicked against it. She mentioned something about having the perfect expensive wedding, but we both knew it was impossible. Surprisingly, Maya got a job a couple of months before our wedding. I told her I could not afford to buy the brand of wedding gown she needed and pay for her bridesmaids' dresses, so she figured it was better to get a job and handle most of her bills instead of bugging me. Her wise decision impressed me, and I hoped she would keep up with her career after we married. Also, I expected she would contribute to our wedding plans with her new job in the picture, but she didn't. Everything she earned was channeled to her gown, shoes, accessories, and everything her bridesmaids needed, so I ended up paying for the wedding venue, hall, cakes, and almost everything on my own. 2 weeks before our wedding, I noticed that Andrea began to text me more and more. She'd text me in the morning to ask if I slept well, and she'd text me as she went shopping with Andrea. In fact, it was a long list of reasons to text me, but whenever we met or she came to our house to help Maya with something, she would remain calm so Maya would not suspect anything was off between us. At one point, I had to tell Andrea to stop calling and texting me because it was getting out of hand. I was afraid that it might jeopardize my relationship with Maya. I was too afraid to mention it to Maya because I didn't want it to ruin their friendship or wedding preparation. I knew how much she loved and trusted Andrea, and deep down, I believed Andrea was trying to seduce me or get me to change my mind about marrying her best friend. On the night of Maya's bachelorette party, I understood why I was in the club section of the hotel we were all lodging at a day before our wedding. I was drinking with some of my friends when Andrea called me and said there was something she wanted to show me. At first, I didn't want to go because I believed she wanted to seduce me one last time, but when she mentioned Maya and a familiar name, I took one of my friends and went upstairs. I got to the hotel room they were using for their small party. I saw Andrea outside the door waiting for me. She told me something I could not believe, and when I opened the door, my heart nearly fell into my stomach. Before I opened the door, I heard soft moans from their room, and my chest constricted as I touched the door's handle. To my greatest shock, I saw Maya on top of another man, which I suspected was the male stripper they hired to entertain them. The moment she saw me, she jumped off him and struggled to cover herself with the sheets. Almost instantly, I recognized him as Andrea had told me he was her college ex-boyfriend, and I didn't even know when I started crying. It was too much to handle, and I walked out of them without saying a word. My friend who had escorted me upstairs was also mortified. He tried to talk to me or maybe calm me down, but I shrugged him off and walked out. As I walked down the corridor, I heard Maya yelling at Andrea, "Why would you do this to me? My life was going perfectly, but you ruined it." Andrea yelled back, "I told you he deserved better. Rick has been nothing but good to you. I told you to break up with that loser boyfriend of yours and be with Rick, but you wanted to eat your cake and have it." I didn't bother to look back. I could not believe Maya had been playing me the whole time. It was too painful to accept, and I wished I could handle the hurt I felt, but I couldn't. Andrea even tried to follow me. I slammed the door in her face. I drank until I could not differentiate between a shadow and an actual person. The following morning, I woke up to a ton of missed calls from Maya and some other people. When I left the room, Maya was already wearing her wedding gown. She looked so miserable. The moment she saw me, she ran to me and asked why I wasn't dressed for our wedding. Hearing that made me so furious. Out of anger, I pushed her away and announced I was calling off our wedding. Everyone was shocked, and they kept asking why I changed my mind. Even my parents were shocked to see me in that state because no one expected this to come after all the money I had spent on the preparations. But I was too heartbroken to speak. I stared at Maya with blood boiling down my spine. I went back into my room and locked myself from inside the room. I could hear my parents and some of our friends asking Maya about the reason behind my decision, but she didn't respond. She just pretended to faint, and a couple of people caught her before her body touched the floor. After cleaning up from the previous night, I left the hotel room with a few belongings I had taken there. I switched off my phone after I dropped an apology message on my friend's WhatsApp group chat and switched off my phone. Please don't blame me. I didn't know how else to react. It's been a week since then, and I still don't know how to come to terms with the fact that I was being played. Update 1. Hi everyone. Thank you for your comments. It means so much to me. Some of you commented in my original post about why I didn't do the background check with my friend's sister before dating Maya. So the thing was, I was stupid. I did not feel the need to do it aggressively. However, I remember subtly asking my friend's sister about Maya during the initial dating phase. She responded that they both were in different departments and Maya was her friend's friend. And after college, they were not in touch, so it didn't help much. Speaking of Maya, I met her yesterday, and she was so mad at me for standing her up at our wedding. It's kind of funny, right? She ignored what she did and made me the villain in the story. She told her parents I canceled the wedding because I had drunk too much the previous night, and I wasn't in my right senses. I think she is mistaking my quietness for foolishness. I didn't want anything to do with her anymore, and I didn't understand why she thought we both could be a thing again. To make things worse, she admitted that she was still having an affair with her ex-boyfriend when we were dating, which broke me more. She did so because I was always working, and I didn't give her the kind of attention she needed. Right now, I am so confused. I never neglected Maya or turned down any of her needs. She was also why I always work so hard. I could take care of our bills and still care for her. Even as I typed this, the thought of her sleeping with her boyfriend behind my back still haunts me. And right now, she's asking us to fix another wedding date because she cannot bear the embarrassment. To think that she only apologized once about how she had hurt me shows that she never loved or valued me as much as I loved her. It was more of a one-person thing. I've told her I cannot marry her. I just cannot. Meanwhile, I kicked her out of my house and changed my locks after I met with Maya yesterday. I also met Andrea to thank her for helping me dodge a bullet. It was through Andrea that I knew Maya had been getting money from me to take care of her boyfriend, and anytime she asked for a ridiculous amount to buy something, she gave it to him. Also, I never mentioned that Maya went to the gym every evening while we lived together. She was just obsessed with being fit, and I didn't think something was wrong with that. Well, I just found out that she was meeting with her college boyfriend every day, and most of the time she said she was with Andrea, but she wasn't. She only asked Andrea to cover up for her. And the reason Andrea was so shocked when Maya showed her the engagement ring was because a couple of days earlier, she had told Andrea she wanted to settle down with her college boyfriend because she was deeply in love with him. Now I understand why Andrea wouldn't stop texting and calling. She was looking for a way to tell me what was happening, but I didn't give her the opportunity. Sometimes I feel I deserve this because I was so stupid that I got trapped so easily. I have made up my mind, and there won't be another wedding. I will be meeting her again in 2 days to trash her belongings. I will make another update soon. Update 2. Hello everyone. Sorry for the delay in updating. I met Maya again the second time 3 weeks ago, and something unexpected happened. Meanwhile, when I told her we would never be together again, talk more about getting married, she looked me in the eye and said, "Do you think calling off our wedding will help you find a better woman?" Lol. No woman in her right mind would want to be with an overweight man like you. You should consider yourself lucky to marry a woman like me. In my entire life, I had never been insulted like that, and it hurt so much that it came from someone I once loved or someone who claimed she loved me. At that point, I knew the kind of person she was. Although it's hard to admit, I realized she had been using me the whole time. I know I'm overweight, but I didn't want a marriage where my wife felt like she was doing me a favor. I knew how those kinds of marriages always turn out to be. We didn't talk much that day because she threw my engagement ring on me and walked out in anger. I blocked her on all our mutual social media platforms and even her number. But before I blocked her parents from calling me, I visited them and told them how much of a liar their daughter was. They were so disappointed when they found out the truth. About a week later, after Maya walked out on me at the cafe, a strange number began to call me repeatedly. When I picked it up, I immediately recognized Maya's voice. She sounded different, calmer, and more respectful. Without beating around the bush, she asked if we could meet because she had something important to tell me, but I insisted she say it over the phone. But before she said it, she started apologizing. She asked me to forgive and forget everything that happened between us in the past so we could start on a fresh slate. Guess what Maya said she wanted to tell me? She was pregnant. I found that really odd, and without waiting for me to say another word, she added, I'm pregnant with your baby, Rick. I busted into a loud laugh. I told her it wasn't April Fool's yet, and she was already pulling pranks. Then I ended the call on her, and like I expected, she didn't stop calling, so I was forced to block the number too. It turned out that her boyfriend had abandoned her after he knew she could no longer take care of him, and when she broke the news of the pregnancy to him, so when it didn't work, she thought she could pull a fast one on me. Since then, she has been trying to call me with strange numbers, and I kept rejecting them. Just 2 days ago, she showed up at my house uninvited. Andrea was there with me. When she saw Andrea, she attacked her with her filthy words, calling Andrea a who destroyed her best friend's life. She even accused me and Andrea of having an affair and cheating on her. I had to call the police on her, and yesterday I filed a restraining order for her. I can only imagine how miserable her life would be without a job and someone to help her raise the baby. As for Andrea and I, there's nothing between us, and I don't think there will ever be a thing. She shows up sometimes to check on me. Right now, I just want to have my life fixed, and hopefully, this broken heart of mine will heal one day. While I still cannot forgive her for what she did to me, I guess she got what she deserved. I'm still trying to heal and move on. Any advice would be highly appreciated. Now on to the next story. Story 5. I, 25M, was planning to propose to my girlfriend, 26F, but she admitted after a night out that she cheated on me and is begging for forgiveness. How do I go about this? I've known my girlfriend since we were in kindergarten. She's helped me through thick and thin, through periods of depression, when my parents were being abusive, when I lost my grandparents. Through it all, she's genuinely my hero. She's also so warm-hearted, caring, selfless, and the best person I know. About a month ago, I told her parents and mine that I wanted to marry her, and we agreed to rent out our favorite amusement park where I would propose to her, which is also where I confess my love to her. It is still rented for August 29th. It was also perfect until yesterday. My girlfriend said that she's going to a karaoke event with her female friends at 2 a.m. Today, she returned clearly drunk and collapsed in bed. This morning, she woke up in tears and apologized profusely. After she'd calmed down, she explained that she was drunk and decided to have sex with another man at the party after the karaoke and regretted it afterwards a lot. When I asked why she'd do this, she said that she was so drunk that she completely blanked on the fact that she was in a relationship with me. That sounded to me like she would have sex with other men if she wasn't with me. So I asked if she was unhappy in bed, but she reassured me that that's not the case and couldn't ask for anything more for me and regrets everything she did. I had so many more questions that I wanted to ask, but my heart completely broke, and I began crying. She hugged me and said that she would do anything to get my trust back and constantly asked not to break up over this. I said that I need some time to think and went into a separate room. I have now been sitting in this room heartbroken for many hours now and don't know what to do. She said that she'd do anything to get my trust back. So I've hoped that there's something I can change to ensure that she never cheats on me again, like always going with her when she goes outside. But that feels really controlling and disgusting to me. Is there any way to not break up and still have trust again that she will never cheat on me again? If I do break up, though, I don't think I can ever love anyone like her again. Please try to understand and comprehend that I've known her since not long after I was even born. We were often in the same class, doing the same school work together, playing together, eating together, doing everything together. I spent many years trying to confess my love. We've spent many years living, loving, smiling together. She feels like a part of me by now. How can I just throw that part away and pretend I'll be fine? I'm saying this because I know it's common on this subreddit to basically just say move on. But I really don't think that's possible for me, so I'm really looking for responses that suggest how we can stay together with rules to ensure that this never happens again. I would also like to hear suggestions about whether I tell mine and or her parents of the incident. I'll have to tell them to cancel the amusement park event, so I probably will have to tell them what happened, but I could excuse the cancellation as me not feeling quite ready yet or something. I'm mainly considering this because I don't want her parents to be mad, yell at her, or be cold towards her because, as I explained before, she's always been my hero, and I don't want someone who's helped me so much get hurt, especially because I've experienced how much that hurts. Update 1. The title is probably a good enough summary to let you read this post without lacking much information. Anyway, so here's the update a day after the post. I decided to ask for clarification as to what exactly happened. I was mentally prepared for every possible response except the one she gave me. From all of the information she gave me, I have tried organizing the most important information below. Before the karaoke, the boyfriend of one of her friends whom I'm acquainted with but not particularly close with decided to join last minute. Let's call him Richard. During the karaoke, her female friends kept daring her to chug beers. She told them to stop daring her after 3 drinks, but they kept insisting and making her feel bad by saying stuff like, "You never drink much anyway, so just for today, try to have some fun and stop ruining the moment," and other stuff. So she continued, "I can confirm that my girlfriend normally drinks far less, 2 beers max normally. She says that she remembers drinking 10 beers in about an hour. She says it's likely she drank more after that, but doesn't remember anything after the 10 drinks except waking up back home. She says that the drinks very likely made her blackout drunk." In my original post, I didn't provide much detail about when she returned from karaoke due to the word limit on posts and me not thinking that the information would matter much. Regardless, the day she returned, her female friends were carrying her by her shoulders, and I had to also carry her to her bed. Her legs were barely moving, her body was not holding upright, and she wasn't able to form coherent sentences. Although until then, I did not have any experience with a person who blacked out, I can only imagine that her situation was a blackout, so I do also believe that she got blackout drunk. When she woke up, she had 10 missed calls from her friends. When she called back, her friends explained what happened while she was blackout drunk during the karaoke. Richard said that he needed to talk to her, my GF, for a moment to strategize on how they'd sing as partners. The friends decided to continue the karaoke while Richard and my GF strategized. After half an hour, neither Richard or my GF were back, so they started checking for where they were. Richard wasn't picking any calls. After an unknown amount of time, Richard's GF saw Richard having sex with my GF. Of course, Richard and his GF broke up, and then all of the females brought my GF home after finding out about this. My GF was mad and shouted, "How dare he rape me?" I was in the basement before I saw my GF cry, which is why I didn't hear this. But her friend said he's saying she consented. My GF says that she was speechless and hung up because she couldn't believe she consented to that and started crying because she believed that she cheated on me by consenting and thought our relationship was over. She didn't know that legally, if a person is drunk, consent or not, you cannot have sex with them. I was surprised she thought this because even if you don't know the laws on this, how could it possibly be morally or even solely logically speaking fine to ask for someone's consent when they're barely able to communicate at or think? I was really shocked by this story and started feeling really bad for my GF. I explained to her that this is rape, not consensual sex. I hugged her and tried to comfort her and asked if she needed anything and how she was feeling. She said that because she doesn't even remember anything after the drinks, she doesn't feel any of the responses normally felt after rape, like trauma. She said that she's mainly disgusted by Richard but also mad at herself for losing control so easily because of a dare and hurting me like this. We went to the police station to report this. The investigation is still ongoing. Also, to be honest, I was still a little suspicious that the story could have been made up or misconstrued, so I went to the karaoke place that they went to and explained the situation and asked if I could see the camera's footage. They agreed, and there was footage of the exact situation that I was told playing out. There was also footage of Richard asking my GF for sex, and my GF responding in a very drunk and barely audible voice. I like that bastard. Really thought that was consent? I have, of course, also provided this footage to the police. Although the police's investigation has not concluded, the evidence I saw is, in my opinion, enough for me to believe her. My girlfriend volunteered to explain the situation to both of our parents because she wants to take accountability for her actions. Her parents were very apologetic and sweet about the situation, which I appreciated a lot. My parents brought us both together to make sure that all of us were on the same page, and we had a big group hug. My dad said something that really resonated with me. This situation is really shitty for everyone, but I know that love will prevail in the end. Unfortunately, it was too late to go back on the theme park that we rented that day, so my parents, her parents, agreed to proceed with it but without the proposal and invited a bunch more people. I told both mine and her parents that I would decide when the time is right to tell her that we initially rented that amusement park to propose. I told her about a week ago when things were more back to normal, and her feelings seemed very complicated as one would expect, but I think her summary of her emotions being devastated but understanding is pretty good. Thanks to the advice of many Redditors, we have decided to take couples therapy, which has been really helpful in helping us understand each other and get even closer. She proposed herself that she never wanted to drink alcohol again. She said that it never even tasted good anyway and never made me happy in the long term. She said that she mainly just drinks to fit in but now plans to stop. So far, that goal has been going great. We also realized that we both always want to do events like karaoke together but sometimes worry about bothering the other. Even on the day that she went with her friends, she wanted to go with me but thought that I looked busy, so went alone. I was not busy. We have worked hard at being more communicative and expressing our feelings more, and it has seriously been great. I have also told her about my Reddit post. I want to thank everyone for all of the advice, even if it was a little mean. We are both so happy right now, and I have faith that despite this bump in the road, we'll keep riding this car forever. We have reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us your thoughts about the stories in the comments section. Thank you and see you in the next video.